Hey everyone, Mike Extra Cheese here, and today I want to talk about two of the most iconic record album covers. Not albums themselves, because we know they're already iconic. I'm talking about the artwork on these covers and how I think I may have found a little bit of a parallel between the two. Are you ready to do this? Okay, let's do this. Now, as a disclaimer to this video right now, I am not an expert. I'm just giving you my opinion. And also, just so you know, I'm going to be spending a lot of time behind the camera on this one. The star is not me in this video. The star is these two albums. And does it get more iconic than the Beatles' Revolver, released in 1966, and Led Zeppelin 3, released in 1970? Can you believe it? Led Zeppelin 3 was released in 1970. Both of these bands are still so relevant today and always will be. In fact, I think we may be looking at, and I might be wrong, I didn't look this up, I think we may be looking at the number one and the number two bands with the best-selling album sales of all time in the United States, for sure, at least, if not the world. I'm sure Elvis Presley is in there somewhere as well. I'm sure he is. Like I said, I'm almost certain we're looking at 1 and 2 right here with album sales in the United States, period. Anyway, we're going to take a little bit of a dive into this. I found some information online which I thought was really interesting, and I think you will too. Let me get to this. I'm going to interrupt this for a moment. You're going to see me for a second because this is really cool. And we're going to talk about this. So I'm focusing just on Led Zeppelin 3 right now. I always called this the wheel. Now you see, as you turn that, it's called the Volvel. The Volvel. As you notice, look at, it's just so wonderful. Look at, you turn the wheel, the Volvel. There's little cutouts in the album cover, and a picture appears in each one. Now, those of you who have actually got this know what I'm talking about. Those of you who had the CD and have never had the album, go get the album. You are missing out on so much. I cannot tell you. You are just missing out. Do whatever you have to do to go find Led Zeppelin 3 and spin the wheel. That's what we like to say. Spin the wheel, the Volvel in the middle. And look at, let's just open this up too. Okay? This is when albums, let's see, I'll back this up a little bit because we are in a gatefold. Again, when albums had thought about artwork in them. And during my research, I was actually kind of surprised to find out, and I think we'll try to dive into it a little bit more, Jimmy Page didn't like the artwork so much. And I thought, really? Really? Jimmy didn't like it so much. I'm going to pull that out a little bit. Also, let's just look at the back of the album. And of course, we've got the maestros themselves. Led Zeppelin. Wow. Whoa! As Al Pacino would say, right? Whoa! Wow! That's what Al Pacino would say. That's my Al Pacino impersonation today. And any day. The Volvel. Wow! Whoa! The Volvel. That's what this is. It's not the wheel, which I used to like to call it when I was a kid. This is my Zeppelin album. It's called the Volvel. We're going to be talking about album art. And I'm going to pose a question to you. Did this album influence the artwork of this album? I think it did. I really do. I think it did. If you didn't have the artwork on this by Klaus Voormann, and we are really going to dive into this, I found something so interesting about this Revolver album. This is cool. I'm looking forward to sharing this with you guys. If this didn't happen first, does this not happen? Because this album here reminds me so doggone much. It's pieced together. Cutouts pieced together with drawing. Klaus Voormann. Again, Beatles friend Klaus Voormann. What do you think? What do you think? I think we got something going on here is what I think. Let's go look a little deeper. Now, this is one of the interesting things that I found while researching for this video. I have never seen this before. Quite frankly, I really never looked that far into the artwork of the Revolver album cover. This collage shows you exactly the photos that were cut out or the inspirations behind almost everything on the Revolver cover. If you look in the middle, I'm just going to point, that's Klaus Vorman right there. He put him, he certainly was smart to do that. He put his picture in there, right? There's Klaus. There's Klaus. He was very smart to do that. Or wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's not Klaus. That's John. Or is it Klaus? No, that is Klaus. That's Klaus Vorman. I thought so. Yes. I'm looking over here. I know that's John. And there's John. Anyway, I'm going to keep this focus on this just for a little bit. In case you've never seen it, you can go on to the internet, just put in some Revolver Criteria album artwork, and this will come up. I found it very fascinating. I've never seen this before, to see where each individual picture was actually, look at, you got Paul right here, and there's Paul right there. There's Paul right here, and there's his profile that was used for the album cover. Never noticed this. Of course I never noticed it. I never looked it up. But how interesting. And there's George for his silhouette artwork covered up. There's John, his profile. Man, this is just too darn cool. Oh, look at Ringo right there. I mean, it's so obvious. I'm so glad that Klaus shared this at some point to let us know exactly where he got all this from. Now, some of you viewers, this may be old school. You may be like, well, yeah, this has been around for, since the album came out. Probably is. But then you got people like me who waited till they were 57 years old to go researching this. This is a new discovery. And I love new discoveries with the Beatles, because just when you think you knew everything, you found out, well, you can't know everything. But I can tell you that it was John who approached Klaus for doing the album artwork. And I'm so glad that he said yes. And did you also, it's a little factoid, a little divergent, Klaus played on a lot of the Beatles solo year albums. I know he was on John's Imagine album, and I'm sure he played through every one of the Beatles individually on their album. He was a bass player. He was a bass player, and a darn good bass player. And if you listen to the Imagine album, he's got a credit and everything. He gets credited heavily. He's on a lot of that album, playing bass guitar on John's Imagine album. Okay. And again, here's Led Zeppelin 3, released October 5th, 1970. One of the band's most intricate and talked about album sleeves features the Volvo, a rotating picture wheel on the front with multiple images visible through holes in the outer cover. The design was created by artist Zakran and produced by Atlantic Records. Although the cover was innovative, Jimmy Page was reportedly disappointed with the final result. In the 1993 interview, he called it teeny bopperish and admitted he had wanted a simpler, more direct image. He had initially envisioned a picture wheel himself, but didn't get updates from the artist. So by the time the record was ready, he couldn't change it. He even described some silly bits like small chunks of corn in the design. Well, I've never noticed it, but guess what? Let's see if we can find it. Now this is a picture of the Volvo. I don't know what Page was referring to as small bits of corn. I see something right here. I don't know what, maybe that's what he means by small bits of corn. I see a little yellow spot right there. I'm not sure. You guys tell me, leave it in the comments. Are these small bits of corn? I don't think so. I don't see small bits of corn in this. The concept, of course, we know it's a mechanical device that allows the viewer to rotate the inner image to reveal different scenes. On Zeppelin 3, the rotating wheel shows the burning Zeppelin. Well, where's the burning Zeppelin at? I see that Zeppelin. I don't know that it's burning, though, but I definitely see the Zeppelin. I don't know. Am I missing something? I'll leave it here just for a second. I'm not going to go too far on this. I don't see the burning Zeppelin, but I do see a Zeppelin for sure. Birds, butterflies, other fauna in the foreground. We know that. We can see that in the white background with the band's name and album title, which is going to be actually on the Led Zeppelin album. Maybe that's what they're talking about, the burning Zeppelin being on the front of the Zeppelin album, and not this the wheel itself, the Volvo concept. Also, we know that this is what symbolism and interpretation. I'm reading this online, as you might have imagined. I've looking this stuff up. The Zeppelin imagery, of course, ties back to the band's debut album cover. The birds and butterflies may symbolize freedom, transformation, or the band's creative spirit. And the Vuvelle itself is a metaphor for the album's musical diversity. Now, I have looked up the artist. I'm going to leave this on this. Let's see. Let's just go back. Where's Zeppelin's album? There we are. I'm still not seeing a Burning Zeppelin. I'm not seeing a Burning Zeppelin on this. I don't know. That's what I read, but I see Zeppelins everywhere. But I don't see a Burning Zeppelin. I don't see that at all. Huh. Anyway, Zakran was born Richard Drew, is an English artist who designed this cover. There's not a whole lot of information on this guy. But this kind of poses a question. This is why it poses a question. Did the Beatles Revolver album, Revolver album inspire Led Zeppelin 3's cover artwork? I am stumbling over my words terribly. I have no idea why. Don't know where the brain's going. Sorry about that. Did it? I don't have the answer. I find a lot of similarities between the two. Let me go back again. There's Revolver. I find a lot of similarities between the two as far as how they were conceived. Now, Vorman's going to get all kudos on this, right? He's the innovator. He's the one that came up with it. I get the uniqueness of the wheel and everything. I love that. You're not going to tell me that Vorman had any kind of influence on that. But this, the packaging together, all the little bits and pieces cut out, this isn't that. I've not seen this on other albums. It may be on other albums. I don't know. But I know it's on Zeppelin 3 and I know it's on Revolver. What do you think? What do you think? Leave it in the comments below. I'd like to know what you think. I think I may have stumbled upon something here. I really believe that Revolver and Zeppelin 3 have a lot of things, as far as the cover art, the album artwork itself goes, I think they have a lot of things in common. Isn't it great to know that at one point it was artwork? I don't know what they do today. I see too much streaming type stuff and not so much put into the artwork. But back in the day, man, they just did it, didn't they? Mike Extra Cheese channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. We have all kinds of things on the Extra Cheese channel. We cover several different things. This is a life channel, and we go through it together, and this is just one of the things that I really enjoy doing. Thanks for joining. Thanks for checking in. The video is over.